we are joined now by our very own Jesse. Jesse, you are talking about Mecklenburg County's homicide conviction numbers, and you were able to speak with the DA today. What are we learning about this?
Well, the Mecklenburg County DA's office released their mid-year homicide rates for January through June. And so throughout that time, they've had 75 convictions, 7 defendants that were convicted. The mass majority were plea deals, about, I think, 5 or 6. 6 of them actually went to trial, and 5 of them were sentenced life to prison after going to trial. Mm-hmm. I think that, it's just a tough thing, right? Because at the end of the day, when you lose a loved one to, and these are homicides, mm-hmm, okay? Mm-hmm. And so when you lose a loved one to violence or anything like that, what does justice really look like, right? And so you have some families who, you'll speak with them and they'll say that they're glad that we got a plea deal, we got a good offer, you know what I mean, or saw one, and they're happy and satisfied. And then you have another that there is no number, there's no sentencing that will ever make up for losing who they lost, But then there's so many different factors, that go into plea deal or going to trial, right? Mm-hmm. Some of these cases, they listed all of the different information for each defendant, and it's, some cases go back from 2020. They've been charged in 2020 for, a murder, and now they're getting a second degree plea deal, you know what I mean? Or they're pleading down to a second degree charge and so forth. And so one thing to think about too is that, the witnesses you may have or the strength of your case and so forth in 2020 might look different in 2026, and so there's just so many different factors when you go through all of this, but either way, speaking with the DA, they are starting with, having 10 more prosecutors. They have 13 ADAs, assistant ADAs now, and so forth. So all these things to kind of, work through, these cases and so forth. And it's just, it's just a lot, the court system is overwhelmed in many ways. And again, justice looks different for every family.
What is the DA saying about this? Are they happy with these numbers, or are they saying, something needs to change, or is this a good number?
So overall, I think they're proud of the work they do. Mm-hmm. I think that one thing he mentioned is that when you go to trial, you see it, right? It's like you see the work in a different way, right? Yeah. When it comes to a plea deal, you don't see the work, but there is a lot of work that goes into that. Right. And so in every case, they are doing. They're at the end of the day, all of the staff that they have, they're not going in there, what's the easiest way out? No, they're looking at, here's the facts, here's the strength of the case, and they're spending hours on these to get the best outcome possible. Because again, it could be a different thing if it goes to trial and doesn't go through. Right. So maybe a plea deal might be the best way to go. And so I think at the end of the day, they're proud of the work they're doing. There's still a lot more work that needs to be done. And in a perfect world, they would have so many more staff, ADAs, and prosecutors to,
help out.
To, share that load, you know what I mean? But again, justice is a tough one when you've lost a loved one to violence.
And I think you put it so perfectly. Like, justice does look so different to so many people, right? Mm-hmm. So when one family wants very, very harsh punishment, another family might be like, we just want to move on. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So, Jesse, we really appreciate that, and look forward to hearing more later on tonight from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.